China Tzu Chi volunteers hold a distribution to help flood survivors in Yuyao, Zhejiang. We see how Tzu Chi and other NGOs in the United States continue to offer assistance to the homeless. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. First up in China, in early October, Yuyao in Zhejiang province was hit by massive flooding, with Lubu Township being one of the worst hit areas. Recently, 116 volunteers from all around China gathered to hand out aid packs to the migrant workers living in the area, many of whom lost almost everything to the floods.
The distribution venue is here at Yuyao's Far East Industrial Park. Volunteers busy themselves with setting up the venue and organizing aid packs as they get ready to deliver their well wishes to residents.
The distribution is a time to build affinity with many people.
Next is the washing powder, and then the oil, and then the rice. The leader of each team needs to ensure the order of how things should flow.
The 116 volunteers from Hangzhou, Ningbo, Shaoxing, Shanghai, Wenzhou and Suzhou are here today to help the thousands of migrant workers living here recover from the October floods.
I'm moved, that is for sure. I took a picture with my cell phone, which I showed to my children and told them to follow in your examples.
Aid recipients go home with daily necessities, rice, cooking oil and a blanket to keep the cold at bay.
The warmth of your love has moved the hearts of everyone that is suffering here.
Altogether, 4,463 residents received help, which meant that the volunteers bowed 4,463 times as they handed over the relief items.
I found that I said thank you over 1,000 times, and each time it gave me more strength. To every person, I would say thank you and bow, and I found that the blessings only grew.
In addition to helping these migrant workers, aid was also brought to residents of 11 nearby villages, helping them recover before the onset of winter.
A year after Hurricane Sandy devastated the east coast of the United States, New York City chapter, in conjunction with Brooklyn's Council of People's organization, held a blessing ceremony for disaster survivors. In the wake of the disaster, City volunteers gave emergency assistance to those in need and turned those relationships into a long-term care plan.
In the United States, over 600 disaster survivors have arrived at PS 217 in New York to attend a blessing ceremony in remembrance of Hurricane Sandy held by Tzu Chi and the Brooklyn Council of People's organization. Everyone's excitement for the day's event fills the hall with a bursting energy.
Through today's event, we can clearly see all the accumulated love in the world. Of course, not everyone who is here today has fully recovered, but their strength is worth learning from.
And Kobo.
Here's the Tzu Chi team and Kobo team working together. Then Tzu Chi comes back. This is the key. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where you are. When things happen, we join together.
The event was conducted in English, Urdu, and Spanish to accommodate the different languages the care recipients speak, and the performances all reflect how Tzu Chi is able to bring people of different race and creed together. Anna Ramirez, a past recipient of Tzu Chi's love, gives her thanks and shares her story with the audience.
On behalf of others and myself, I want to thank Tzu Chi from the bottom of my heart for caring for my family and giving us financial assistance.
After religious leaders of different faiths lead their fellow believers in prayer, Tzu Chi volunteers present everyone who attended the event with a scarf and an eco-friendly blanket, and each household also received a cash card worth $50. This gift ensures each household can have a happy and warm Thanksgiving.
These are the coins we saved up this year, and I brought the bamboo coin bank to see if they will accept it.
Seeing love come full circle, many disaster survivors brought their filled bamboo coin bank back to Tzu Chi.
The assistance Tzu Chi provides isn't just in emergency situations, but we are also working in building a relationship with recipients. We hope through these ongoing connections, the recipients can learn to pay forward the love they've received to others in their community. In this way, we can accumulate blessings for all the people in the greater New York area.
Moving to Malaysia at the Water Repentance Sutra performance put on by the Penang Tzu Chi Academy, students and parents of the Butterworth Tzu Chi Academy not only came to show their support, but also donated their filled bamboo coin banks in hopes of helping the less fortunate.
Students of the Butterworth Tzu Chi Academy and their parents arrived at the venue of the Water Repentance Sutra performance. Today, they also bring filled bamboo coin banks with them to donate to Tzu Chi.
Yes, we have donated it to Tzu Chi. Though it is not much, we still want to do our part to help the less fortunate.
It's a pity I never realized that small changes can accumulate into something big to help the needy.
As the performance continues inside the venue, the jingling outside pours in as well.
When I hear the jingling of the coins, I could feel the vibrancy of their love towards the needy.
Both the students and I felt the Dharma joy today. The sound of the flowing coins is the sound of goodness. That's really pleasant to hear.
With the support of the countless kind-hearted residents, the establishment of the new education and medical buildings in Malaysia is one step closer.
Back to the United States with the imminent rollout of the National Healthcare Act next year, the homeless are not necessarily guaranteed health insurance coverage under the new law. In other words, it is possible that the homeless still won't have access to affordable health care. Hence, free clinics for the homeless will continue to be vital, and many charity organizations, including Tzu Chi, will continue to devote their efforts to this area.
In the bustling metropolis of the United States, the homeless seem to be an unavoidable dilemma of society. Their existence is known yet ignored.
Being homeless, you get used to becoming invisible. You're invisible. People look right through you, right past you, don't even acknowledge that you exist.
It's just an attitude that we develop is the homeless will always be there. We have to learn to just live with the fact that there are a lot of homeless people there.
Despite turning a blind eye to their existence, the numbers of homeless are growing. In the past 2 years, homeless teens increased by 12%, while adults increased by almost 30%.
Beans, rice, two cans. You know, if it's a family of more than 5, they get extra more. Okay.
When he retired from the military, Gary developed an addiction to drugs and alcohol, for which he subsequently served time in prison. Not only did he lose his family and his health, Gary became a social outcast.
That'll last me a week. Yeah.
So is it helpful?
Yes, very helpful. Without it, I can't eat.
6 years ago, Gary successfully rid himself of his addictions. However, it wasn't easy to escape life on the streets, let alone find a job.
If you're lucky enough that you can get the job, they have no way to contact you because you can't afford a phone. Even if you got a phone, where are you going to charge it?
3 years ago, a kind-hearted Samaritan extended help to Gary. In this tiny space, the sofa is his bed and the guitar is his only belonging. Gary also began helping out at the homeless shelters, but a job was still nowhere in sight.
You got 2 more.
Yes.
But many of these people are trying to overcome various types of addiction, alcohol or drugs, and there is a good percentage of them who suffer from mental illness to some degree or another.
If it gets bad enough, you know, they can always go to an emergency room, but without insurance, it's hard for them to go to the doctor, so they don't even bother.
Those neglected by society are not forgotten by Tzu Chi. Since 2007, each winter, Tzu Chi's mobile clinic travels to local churches to provide dental checkups for the homeless.
Lately, I just had 7 teeth pulled from the top.
And in the summer, the Tzu Chi Medical Center also opened its doors to the homeless.
Anything I could help you with today?
Yeah, make me smile for the first time in 10 years.
First time in 10 years, okay. Can you tell me?
Most of their dental problems are related to prolonged drug abuse. Drug use is most detrimental to our teeth.
A full mouth reconstruction costs at least $2,000 to $3,000. What the homeless can't afford, Tzu Chi will help them with.
Most of the patients can't believe that they too can have an opportunity to regain their smile.
Feel great. Going to have a chance to smile again and eat. It would be nice to be able to eat a meal.
Whether or not the new Healthcare Act will successfully protect the homeless remains to be seen. What is certain, however, is that the Tzu Chi Medical Foundation will always be there to extend help their way.
In Taiwan's Taichung, to provide residents living in remote areas with adequate dental care, the Greater Taichung Dentist Association opened a clinic in Guguan of Heping District. The dental clinic is staffed by a group of kind-hearted doctors that will offer not only quality dental treatment, but also oral hygiene tips.
Guguan in Taichung's Heping district is surrounded by mountains with only one major road connecting it to the outside world. Lack of medical resources has long been a headache for local residents.
We need to travel a long way to get to Dongsi district to see a doctor. If our illness is more serious, we have to go to the hospital in the city center.
Due to its distance from the city, it's not convenient for the locals here to seek dental treatment. 50-year-old Miss Tu will never forget how her mother treated her toothache when she was young.
The toothache I remember was just unbearable. My mom then used pilliers to pull my tooth out.
Now the younger generation doesn't have to relive such experiences. Thanks to the efforts of the Greater Taichung Dentist Association, a dental clinic was set up to provide dental work in the local community. Dr. Lu Shiping, who is among the dentists at the clinic, says he cherishes the opportunity to help more needy patients.
As a dentist, I really appreciate the opportunity to help residents living in remote areas. I think the other dentists would also agree with me.
Thanks to the doctors' dedication and government subsidies, thousands of the Guguan residents finally have a chance to have their teeth attended to by professionals.
Days after salmon care recipient Yang Xiaodong arrived in Taiwan earlier this year, Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital Honorary Superintendent Dr. Chen Yinghe led a group of medical staff in carrying out the first surgery to adjust Xiaodong's hip bone. Let's take a look.
感恩哦，一切顺利平安哦。对的，安尼去都无代志啊。
Getting ready for his first surgery in Taiwan, shaman care recipient Yang Xiaodong receives blessings and encouragement from Tzu Chi volunteers who have been accompanying him. Yang's mother waits outside the surgery room and prays for a positive outcome.
I am a little nervous. I hope that Xiaodong can stand again.
After a detailed assessment, Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital Honorary Superintendent and his team of medical staff came to the conclusion that a hip bone surgery must be carried out first. However, with his spine and knees bent more than 200 degrees and having been in the same position for 19 years means the surgery will be a great challenge.
Xiaodong's joints are all pulled back to his pelvis around his hip area. In situations like this, we can't really undertake a surgery, so our first step is to help him release the muscles around his legs so he can move them around freely.
Though the seriously deformed hip bone brings complications to the normally simple artificial joint replacement surgery, Dr. Chen Yinghe overcomes these obstacles with expertise.
We hope the replacement and reconstruction of his joints will first allow him to move about, and secondly, that he will be able to stretch his legs. The results have been within our expectations so far.
OK， 好，妈妈放心，一切都如同我们的
计划。
After the 2 hip bone surgeries were finished, Xiaodong was sent to the recovery room, while Dr. Chen quickly met his anxious mother to inform her of the good news.
Seeing his body straighten so much after his first surgery, I think Dr. Chen Yinghe is really good at what he does.
The hip bone replacement surgery not only corrects Xiaodong's bent knees, but also prepares him for the treatments to follow.
The greatest benefit after his hip bone surgery is that we have straightened his body in a way which will allow us to carry out a spinal surgery.
A week after his first surgery, Xiaodong's rehabilitation instructor leads him in rehab exercises each day. According to the treatment plan drawn up by his medical staff, Xiaodong has another 3 weeks before his spinal correction surgery, and he must waste no time in between.
For Yang
Xiaodong, if there's anything, it is the rehab that he needs to work on. So whenever he's free, he needs to retrain his muscles by doing these exercises. He needs to pick up what he has missed out on.
Surrounded by the care of volunteers and medical staff, Xiaodong and his mother hope to become givers one day to pay the love forward. What awaits young Xiaodong next is a spinal correction surgery, which is considered the most difficult and risky part of his treatment. Back pain is a common problem faced by many of Taiwan's citizens. However, it may be caused by a variety of reasons. Patients are often left without a clue as to which doctors to visit. Doctors from different departments may also have different treatment and advice for these conditions. Thus, beginning in November, the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital will offer an integrated back pain clinic to help patients find the cause of their illness and provide necessary treatments. Patient Ms. Ye suffers from back pain and finds it difficult to bend her back when washing her hair. Over the past year, she has visited hospitals over 30 times and saw doctors from every medical department.
I have all the symptoms. This is how I have lived each day. I really don't know which doctor to visit.
As the cause of back pain may vary and there are many patients like Ms. Ye, Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital, beginning in November, will provide an integrated back pain clinic. 3 doctors from neurosurgical rehabilitation and Chinese medicine departments will provide a joint diagnosis for each patient.
She might have been to many places and undergone many unnecessary treatments. However, some patients, because they have been everywhere, later find that the cause of their back pain is something more complicated.
With patients not knowing which medical department to visit, the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital hopes such a service will help patients receive the correct treatment.
Some 3 months or 2 years after patients receive surgery, their condition relapses. With situations like this, maybe a surgery was not necessary, but exercise and rehab could have eased the patient's condition instead.
The integrated medical service means longer time spent with doctors, and thus only 10 slots are available each day. Registration fees will be as usual, except for the $50 NT additional charges for Chinese medicine. Also in Taiwan, City's New Shoot Scholarship Program continues to help needy students around the island. In our next report, we go to金门to meet scholarship recipient Lin Jialu, who has been receiving City's financial aid since senior high school. Moved by City's kindness, Lin says that he will continue to study hard and become a useful person.
A silent performance by the Tzu Chis begins the New Shoe Scholarship Award ceremony here in金门, Taiwan. Among the scholarship recipients is volunteer Lin Jialu, who has been receiving Tzu Chi's help since senior high school after his father was involved in a work-related accident.
This scholarship not only helps me, but it also comes with a sense of responsibility. The Tzu Chi aunts told me that I need to study hard and not to disappoint Tzu Chi and the society.
Over the years, the New Shoe Scholarship Program has helped countless needy students. Today, the principals of 2 elementary schools are also present to give students their advice and words of encouragement.
I hope that all of the students that have received their scholarships today will grow up to reciprocate this love by helping those in greater need.
All of you, please remember to be grateful. You have to remember that a drop of kindness received should be repaid with a flood of kindness.
Children are the future of our society. With Tzu Chi scholarships, these students can continue their education and one day can light up others' world.
Moving to Kaohsiung, as the city gets an average of nearly 2,000 hours of sunshine per year to ease what is known as the urban heat island effect and reduce carbon emissions, the local government has been promoting the installation of solar panels and green roofs on buildings. To encourage members of the public to embrace this new concept, starting from next year, the government will provide subsidies to buildings interested in installing these green roofs. Next, we learn more about the benefit of solar panels and green roofs.
The combination of solar power and organic farming. This is not your typical farm, but the rooftop of a building. With the use of solar power panels and rainwater harvesting systems, this rooftop in Kaohsiung City has been transformed into an organic farm that grows more than 5 kinds of vegetables.
I never thought that people could grow vegetables here. It is really amazing. I want to give it a try.
Before, I only thought of having a garden on the rooftop, but this time, we want to have a vegetable farm.
Kaohsiung City gets an average of nearly 2,000 hours of sunshine per year, with temperatures above 30 degrees during half of the year. By installing green roofs, members of the public can help lower urban air temperatures and collect solar power. Starting from next year, the local government will be providing subsidies for those that wish to build their own green roof.
Currently, the city government is already providing subsidies for solar power panels. Next year, subsidies will also be provided to those that have a green roof.
Happily growing healthy and organic vegetables on their rooftop is Mr. Chan and his wife.
This is bok choy, mustard greens, and sweet potato leaves. They can block the heat, and these vegetables are healthy to eat.
On the tree list, we see cucumbers and bitter melons. On the ground, we see many leaf vegetables. Following a green roof expert, we see that one of the plants is not placed on the ground. Why is that?
This acts as a spacer. It will also create a drainage gap, and excess amount of water will drain out from here.
To decrease urban air temperatures, no gap should exist between individual pots. However, a pathway should be present between the large boxes of plants. Most importantly, the boxes of plants should not sit right on top of the roof.
Plant roots are acidic and will damage the waterproof layer of the roof. This is a problem that we need to be aware of and take into our consideration when installing a green roof.
With these tips in mind, we can transform our rooftops into ones that are not only beautiful but also benefit Mother Earth.
We go to Canada at the end of our show. Tzu Chi volunteers in Coquitlam recently took part in a tree planting event known as Trees for Tomorrow, organized by the local government, where they planted 350 tree saplings around Como Creek. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.